farmers throughout the country are thinking about what their next steps will be now that Donald Trump has been elected and his tough rhetoric regarding undocumented immigration continues on. Now, CNN recently spoke to a farmer in a blue state, California. His name is Joel del Boscaya, and here's what he has to say about Donald Trump and the impact that he has already had on this man's farm. Take a look.
Farmer Joel del Boscaya, the son of Mexican migrants, couldn't get enough workers this year. Problems that escalated after the election.
When he talks about mass deportations, that makes me nervous. Putting a wall up on the border, that makes me nervous.
And that affects your bottom line.
It does, because we can grow the crops, but then we can't pick them.
So that small snippet was part of a larger video or segment, I should say, that CNN did, where they spoke to voters in blue states just to see how they're feeling about Trump's administration so far.
Voters in blue states?
Voters in blue states. So they have a segment called Red, Purple, and Blue. And so they just kind of want to get a sense of what people throughout the country are feeling right now about Trump's presidency. And that small snippet, to me, was the most relevant because it really hones in on something that people don't realize, right? So they think, okay, undocumented immigrants, they're coming in, they're taking our jobs, we need to get rid of them because we have unemployed US citizens that should be employed in those jobs. But what people fail to realize, and I know that this argument sounds ridiculous on its face, is that Americans don't want those jobs. Even if the farmers increase the wage, even if the farmers offer benefits, people do not want to do those jobs. And I have data on that, okay? This is an ongoing issue. It happened during Obama's administration, because if you can remember, Obama did crack down on undocumented immigrants pretty harshly early on in his first term, and it hurt farms considerably, okay? So let me give you some examples. The Los Angeles Times wrote about this a while ago, and they said that Chalmers R. Carr III, the president of Titan Farms, a South Carolina.
Chalmers R. Carr III. We've been in the farming business now for several generations, Anna.
So he's the president of Titan Farms, a South Carolina peach giant. He told lawmakers at a 2013 hearing that he advertised 2,000 job openings from 2010 through 2012. He said he was paying $9.39 an hour, $2 more than the state's minimum wage at the time. He hired 483 US applicants, slightly less than a quarter of what he needed. 109 didn't show up on the first day. Another 321 of them quit, the vast majority in the first 2 days. Only 31 lasted for the entire peach season. Also, when
the peach season's too long, by the way. The playoffs, like they take forever.
Exactly.
So,
And that's another thing, though. So the way farming works is obviously for a lot of crops, it's seasonal, and so it's really difficult labor for a long time, and then all of a sudden, there's no work.
Let's say you take it up to $11 an hour. I don't know that you still can fill the field.
Yeah, the point is, right, those jobs aren't getting filled, and I presume he could have filled them with, his point is that he could have filled them with immigrants, right?
And that's the big, even as Trump was beginning his rhetoric, his anti-immigrant rhetoric, that was the big secret, that this country, the engine of so much of what drives this country is really fueled by illegal immigrants, people who are here in some status that is not officially recognized as legal. And the agricultural interests are top of the list. We're right to focus on them, but you can extend and broaden that focus to restaurants. I mean, even high-end restaurants and the clothing industry. I mean, it goes across industries. This is a country that has sucked up that immigration.
And one thing that I do want to make clear is that, look, a lot of these farmers are not multimillionaires, multi-billionaires. A lot of farms, barely make ends meet. And so it's not like we're having a conversation about the fast food industry where you have these fast food giants bringing in billions in revenue every single year. We're talking about, farmers who want to increase the wages, and they increase the wages as much as they possibly can, right? And it still doesn't attract the US citizens that they would like to attract. There are more examples, okay? So let me give you another one. When native unemployed people are referred to NCGA, they're almost without exception hired. Between 1998 and 2011, 97% of referred applicants were hired, but they don't tend to last. In 2011, 245 people were hired out of 268 referred, but only 66.5% of the hired applicants actually showed up to the first day of work. Worse, only 7 lasted to the end of the growing season.
That's unbelievable.
Okay, so one farmer says Mexican workers are far likelier to stick through the season than native-born workers. About 90% were still working 5 months along, compared to less than 10% of native-born workers. I apologize, that's not from a farmer, that's from the Washington Post. Also, some farmers are even giving laborers benefits normally reserved for white-collar professionals, like 401k plans, health insurance, subsidized housing, and profit-sharing bonuses. Full-timers at Silverado Farming, for example, get most of those sweeteners, plus 10 paid vacation days and 8 paid holidays. 9 in 10 agriculture workers in California are still foreign-born, and more than half are undocumented, according to a federal survey. So it's not about wages, it's not about benefits. Farmers are doing what they can to attract, people who are here legally, because they don't want to deal with any type of penalty for employing undocumented immigrants, and they just can't do it. It's not working. And so it's a much more complicated and nuanced issue than the right would have you believe. It's not a black and white issue. I know people want simple answers to complex problems, but this requires a real solution, a comprehensive solution, not this, we're gonna close our borders, we're gonna kick everyone out, we're gonna build a big wall, a big, beautiful wall. Like, that's not a solution.
So first of all, I love that it seemed like, Mike, how we even offered these people health insurance and vacation days and profit sharing and retirement. I mean, they're barely even people when we offered it to them, right? I mean, they should have that. Every American worker should have that. That's not good for them for offering it, but they should offer it no matter what. They already should have offered it. I don't know why farm workers are suddenly somehow exempt from that. I get it that many, especially small farms, aren't exactly, as you say, turning
most Americans are exempt from that in this country.
True. So I don't think this is a radical statement. The reason that the right is against, have railed against illegal immigrants is because they're trying to scare us. It's simply, you can say, as always, they scare us with their terrorists, right? We open the borders, as they say, ISIS will sneak in and they'll blow stuff up, or as evidenced by Trump's callous and humiliating to an entire race of people that when he exploits, look at these people whose child was killed by an illegal immigrant. So they're suggesting that they're gonna come in and they're gonna rape and kill your kids, right? They're gonna rape your daughters, they're gonna kill, they're gonna murder, or they're gonna be ISIS members. So that's what it is. They don't care about the worker, they actually want those farms. They want workers, right? We know business wants to exploit those workers. They can, because I don't have to give them health insurance, profit sharing, vacation days, and retirement. That's great. I can pay them $7.39 an hour in South Carolina, or whatever the minimum wage is now. Illegal immigration is not a problem in America. It's not an issue. We shouldn't be talking about it. It is unimportant. It is, I get it. There are people out there who will get on my Twitter handle and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. And they're not wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. Because there are parts of the country where it is relevant. I'm sure if you live in a border town, it has probably affected you in some way, and it has probably disappointed you that there are a bunch of immigrant kids at your schools who don't speak English, and you think it's affected you. And I get it. That is a community that has to deal with a mesh of cultures that have come together, and that community might be ill-equipped to deal with that. But as a general rule in America, it is not a problem. The people who come here are coming here because they goddamn love America. They certainly like it more than where they came from, and they're here because they want to effing work.
Yeah.
It is not a problem. We should not be talking about it. It's irrelevant. They're here. We have a DEA or whatever, not a DEA. We have ICE. I know we got to go. Again, you're not allowed to have a name ICE. You're not allowed to be in law enforcement and get a cool name because it just makes you feel like a badass and you can act like a badass. Law enforcement is a serious job. You have a name like the FBI. You don't get ICE. That's not cool. You can't, it's like mother of all bombs. You don't get to be, hey man, I'm ICE. Bang, 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 I'm an ICE. Not right. So I get it. We can have immigration and customs enforcement, and when they find someone illegal who's committed a crime, they can throw them out. That's fine. But illegal immigration is not a problem. We shouldn't be talking about it. Basically, we've exploited these people and they've been a boon to our economy and let us eat peach pie.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
And have contributed
enormously,
taxes.
yes, enormously, far more in than they take out. They're working.
Right.
Corporate media is awesome.
Wrong.
Independent media is the way to go.
Believe me. Believe me.
Support independent media right now. Become a Young Turks member. TYTnetwork.com/join.